Hello everyone, nice to meet you all. Welcome to the first class of the Spirit of God in the Old Testament. We usually use the term Holy Spirit, but the term Spirit of God is more frequently used term in the Old Testament rather than the Holy Spirit. Usually the first class of the semester is kind of short, but I think it's the most important class because I give you the guidelines for the whole semester. I hope you wouldn't miss this week's tutorial on Thursday. By the way, as this is the first week of the class, on our first Zoom tutorial session, we'll have time to introduce each other and talk about your expectations on this course. We'll talk about this on our tutorial sessions. My name is Il-sung Jung. In Korean, the family name Jung comes first. So in Korean, my name is Jung Il-sung. In English, Il-sung Jung. Anyway, my first name is Il-sung. It means rising every day or rising sun. Myself, I'm teaching the Old Testament at Asia Life University since the year 2012. Let me tell you my academic interests. The broad area of my research interest is literary approach to the Old Testament. The area of my expertise is narrative critical approach to minor characters in the Old Testament, such as women characters and forsaken firstborns and so on. In my PhD research at the University of Sheffield in the UK, I have challenged the traditional negative image of Esau, Jacob's brother in the book of Genesis, primarily by criticizing contemporary Genesis commentaries. It's so-called the meta-commentary in my methodology. After completing my PhD, I have spent a year as a postdoctoral research fellow at the University of Limerick in Ireland, writing a journal article on textual connections between Genesis and Jeremiah. Before I come here, Asia Life University, I have taught at several universities and seminaries, mostly evangelical and Reformed church traditions. I myself is from Presbyterian background, but I'm teaching now at Pentecostal seminary. With experience working as a professor at the university, as well as teaching and preaching at the church, I have been trained in teaching both university and church settings. From my standpoint, I'm interested in offering holistic theological education, which can cover both academic and practical dimensions of Christian leadership. My research interest these days, is mainly about how the interpretation of the Bible has been affected by a reader's various ethical, cultural, and social perspectives. Thus, I have been studying Korean traditional folk tales, comparing with the Old Testament stories. It's one of my research interests these days. I'm also interested in the history of biblical interpretation and various Old Testament interpretive approaches, particularly Pentecostal hermeneutics. I often question myself what it means to read the Bible as a Pentecostal. I'm interested in how the Spirit of God worked in the history of Israel and is working in the church today. So we come to meet here in this class. Welcome. I'm glad to meet you all. On a personal note, I have a lovely wife and two sons. My youngest son went to college this year, so I kind of feel free these days. We'll talk about our personal life later on our tutorial sessions. Now, let me briefly explain what we are going to do this semester. Look at the course syllabus and I will explain. I hope you can see this course syllabus. Okay, there's no problem. Okay, we are going to run this course in distance learning format. We'll do a detailed study of the Spirit of God in the Old Testament. In this course, we'll engage in a detailed exegetical study of the Spirit of God passages. So for 12 weeks, you will study the recorded lecture materials and then come to tutorial session on Thursday. Course goals. After taking this course, we'll have a clear understanding of the Old Testament perspectives on the Spirit of God. We'll come to understand various roles of the Holy Spirit in Israel and how they might influence the church today. In this course, I expect your critical interaction with scholarly literature. When I read student papers, I often found out that many of student papers read like a sermon note, but in this course, what I expect is exegetical study formulated in a seminar format. I will explain further at our tutorial sessions. Probably most of you are more interested in this course evaluations. So your grade will be based on a couple of assignments. The first of all, book review. Your first assignment is book review. You will write a critical book review, no more than 3 pages, about this book. Christopher Wright, Knowing the Holy Spirit Through the Old Testament. It's also in your textbook, on your syllabus. Writing a book review is a very important academic exercise. A book review is not simply a summary of the book. It should not be. For your further studies, in order to write a good thesis or dissertation, you'll need an ability to summarize and criticize what you have read. So here are some guidelines for your book review. If you have any further questions, you can ask to myself at our tutorial session. Okay, just what I expect from your assignment, your book review. First of all, briefly summarize the contents of the book, and then secondly, evaluate the merits of the book. When you write a book review, you'll need to consider this kind of questions. For instance, what are the strengths and weaknesses of the book? In your review, consider what the author is trying to accomplish in his or her book. In a word, what is he trying to say? What's his purpose, and does he succeed? Kind of these questions. This review should be no more than 3 pages, in double-spaced. Okay, second assignment is the most crucial assignment this semester. Class presentation, exegetical study, and class presentation. Your second assignment is exegetical study. Just a reminder that it's not a sermon note. In consultation with me, you have to prepare an exegetical paper on a topic or passage related to the Spirit of God in the Old Testament. You'll be surprised to see we have so many passages related to the Spirit of God in the Old Testament. So you have to choose that passage at your own. The length of your paper need to be about 10 pages, 10 to 12 pages. In words, it's 2,500. It's about 2,500 words. You need to present main part of your exegetical study in a 20-minute seminar presentation. You have to consult the biblical text and scholarly literature such as Bible commentaries and journal articles. Discuss one particular problem or aspect of the topic or passage in class. By the way, I have to move on to here. Okay, I hope you can see. And also just, okay, where are we? Okay, you have to consult the biblical text. You have to choose your own text and you have to consult scholarly literature such as commentaries and academic journal articles. Discuss one particular problem or aspect of the topic or passage in class. This is for our learning purpose. And this is also important. A one-page handout should be prepared, giving an outline with questions for discussion in class. So this presentation is intended for you to give you the opportunity to have feedback from your classmates and myself before you submit your final draft. You can use this opportunity to sharpen your main ideas, main arguments, and get more ideas from the class. I'll give you comments regarding your paper, and then you can consult these comments when you submit your final draft. Another important to notice is before the presentation day, maybe about 3 days ago, so by Monday night, the presenter, if you come to present your paper, the presenter should send a full text manuscript to your classmates, including myself. Each of you will be expected to read the whole manuscript and come to the class prepared for discussion. So prepare kind of questions or comments for the presenter, for your classmate, for your friend. Your questions or comments will be helpful when the presenter revises the work later. And the final exam. On the final week of the class, you'll take a comprehensive final exam. It'll be based on the lectures and seminars given in the class. The final exam will consist of, well, I have not made the final exam yet, but the final exam will consist of short questions and essay questions. I'll give you a set of questions for the final exam about a month ago. You'll only have to study these topics, so don't worry too much about it at this point. The remaining 15% of the grade will be based on your attendance and in-class performance. In-class performance means your contribution to the small group or seminar discussions. Earlier I told you that you should read the manuscript of your classmates' exegetical paper and come to class ready for discussion. So please be active and enjoy your seminar discussions. Okay, I'll talk about textbooks. I have listed 3 textbooks, but mostly you'll use 2 books. Usually, I'm not a textbook-oriented lecturer. In this course, our textbooks will give you a big picture about the major biblical passages we are going to cover this semester. So I have listed 3 books in the syllabus for our textbooks. Earlier, through Dr. Zhang, I gave you 2 books, but among this list, the first 2 books are strongly recommended for purchase and reading this semester. The third book, Leon Wu's book, is optional. If you want to buy, it's okay. But the first 2 books, at least, I'd like to strongly recommend you to purchase. First of all, I'd like to recommend you to begin to read Christopher Wright's book first. I don't know how many of you have bought this book at this point. Anyway, if you have not purchased it, please order from the Amazon.com, and when you get it, please begin to read. This is not a big book, so it will not take a long time. If you have, as you read through this book, if you have further questions regarding any biblical passage in Christopher Wright's book, you can also consult the second book, Wilf Hildebrandt's book, for further ideas and thoughts. So these 2 books, Christopher Wright's book and Wilf Hildebrandt's book, will be mostly, I hope it will be used for your exegetical paper too. For your exegetical study and class presentation, I'd like to encourage you to read major Bible commentaries on the passages you are going to present. What I mean by major Bible commentaries is like World Biblical Commentary or Anchor Bible and so on. I'll have time to introduce major Bible commentaries in our tutorial sessions too. Okay, let's move on. References. Okay, here I have listed out major references about the subject of the Spirit of God in the Old Testament. Some of books may be out of print, but these books will be useful, and these materials are used for my lecture too. And commentaries, I have also selected some of the representative commentaries on the passages we are going to discuss this semester. Okay, I hope this information helps. In addition to recorded lectures, I'll send you other lecture materials by email week by week. Before you come to our tutorial sessions, listen to the recorded lecture, read textbook or lecture material, and come to tutorial with questions if any. Okay, this is the first week of the class. That's it for today. I look forward to seeing you all on our first tutorial session this week. Have a good day and God bless you.